Welcome to Functional Training Zone Table Talk. I am your host, Dr. Joy Brown, a career strategist and coach, and I'm excited to bring to you honest conversations with professionals from various fields to give you firsthand insight into their journey.
Sponsored by
Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, great.
Thank you, ladies. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, so we're going to jump right into the conversation. So, again, what drew you to the field of real estate?
Me?
Okay, I can absolutely start with that. I mean, my journey was very abrupt. I've always been into real estate. I've always loved the idea of building houses, buying houses, selling houses, but most of all, building a community of individuals that can come together. You know, when they say it takes a village, like it really does. So I felt like I wanted to have a part in that creation, and I felt like getting into real estate was my pathway to that. I'm not traditionally selling and buying houses. I'm more geared towards the investment side and the development side of building communities. So that is where my passion lies. But I've done rentals and everything like that, just so I can get into the feel of what that initial I want to buy a house moment is for everyone, because it's different for everyone. I bought my first house in 2020 in the pandemic, and that was it was a situation. But I just know that there's a lot of emotions that go with that. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of miseducation that goes along with young people, especially people of color, trying to purchase real estate. And I wanted to be that guide to help them do that. So that's what drew me into real estate.
Oh, I love it. I heard building that community, be that guide, providing that information. Cassidy, yes, please tell us what drew you to real estate.
Yeah. I would definitely say was it in what you said, Ebony, very similar in wanting to help out and be a part of everyone and just see in every transaction, every person you meet, their story is so different. The role you get to play to them. I have literally been everything. I've been the lawyer, I've been the therapist, I've been the sister. You are on an emotional roller coaster with a person, and they can call you at any time of the day. Like I've honestly felt like with a lot of my clients, like she said, the community of it, I'm a part of the family. I get invited to the cookouts and, the baby showers and all of these things because you have been there for months, sometimes even years. And, Ebony, I know on your investor side, I've dabbled in that a little, but those transactions can take even longer than a residential contract can take. And you really get to know a person. For me, that is actually what drew me to real estate. I didn't know anything about houses prior to purchasing my home in 2020 as well. I had a great experience with my realtor. And what blew my mind is some of the horror stories I had heard from other people. So I was hearing my friends buying houses and they're like, oh my God, I did this. Don't do this. Don't go to this person. Don't do that. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, who do I trust? And when I got to my first realtor, no one told me you could interview a realtor. It was just like, oh, I met this girl. She's going to help me buy a house. And I ran with it. And my mom was kind of in my ear, like, if you're not feeling like you really understand everything, you can find somebody else, right? And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's do that. So to find, another person, I kind of asked around again. And when I met this young lady, and I immediately got this good energy and this good vibe from her. And I was like, okay, I can trust her. And not only could I trust her, when I got into a situation where I was really just confused by I can't even remember if it was like an inspector appraisal. Somebody at this point was explaining to me, and I'm like, okay, I call her. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to vocalize like where my concern is. And she immediately knew what I was trying to say. She called that person. We got on the call on a three-way, and she had my back. And I was just like, I want to be that to somebody else. Like, I want to have somebody's back. I want to go to bat and help somebody's dream come true. And after like that one little thing happened, my transaction was so smooth. And I just remember telling all my friends, like, you should have asked around. You should have got you another realtor. Like, you should have got somebody who really cared about you. Because even on the real estate side, I'm learning all realtors don't care about people. Some people see the money in what these transactions can bring you. And that's all they see is the dollar signs. They don't see the person behind it. They don't see the struggles or, what maybe what it took for this person to get to this point to have the down payment in the first place. And here you are playing with their emotions or treating them like they don't matter to you. So I got into real estate from a very traditional route. I got a government job. I just thought, sitting at this desk was all I was supposed to be doing. And every day I was so bored out of my mind. Like, I was climbing the ladder and again, chasing the money. And I was just like, but I'm not happy. Like, I go to work every day. I feel like a robot. And like I said, after I bought my house, it was just kind of like, okay, we're in this pandemic, we're home, I'm not talking to people, I'm losing my social skills, like, I'm going crazy. Like, what can I do to just interact and be helpful to people? And that's what I saw of real estate. It was a way to get out of the traditional, but still do what I was doing in the government. So a lot of people were teaching me to understand transferable skills and what were you doing in the government and how can you now use that somewhere else that is more aligned with your passion. So again, that was my way out. Like, okay, how can I get out of this box and do something more freeing and that has a true purpose behind it? So.
All right. Now, y'all gave some great tea. So I hope that y'all are taking some copious notes. We talk about building your community. We talk about being able to interview. And I think that's so key, because just think about it. If you're looking for an electrician or a painter, we want referrals, but also we want to make sure their customer service, they're skillful, and there's some connection. So I love that. And you saw it in your realtor. And so you saw somebody that you knew and loved that behavior and wanted to model it, and it was like, oh, I like those. And you talked about those transferable skills. So let's talk about what are some of the skills that's needed to be a realtor.
I think empathy is very important.
Yeah, patience.
Patience, empathy, just consideration.
Being a social person,
communication,
being able to interact and communicate with a person. That's key.
Right.
It's
being organized
and detail-oriented.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yes, attention to detail.
I try to think that just being a good person is a good skill to have.
You would think that'd be at the top of the list, right?
But like you said, some realtors are not out there to help their clients, and having that value, that integrity about just knowing that you want to be a person who serves their client. That's something you really have to go in thinking about. I am here to serve my client, because that is your job.
Yeah. It's a selfless job in a sense. Like, you are not putting anything of your own on the line here. You have someone else's everything on the line. And how much are you going to go to bat for this person if you just don't even really care? Or you're not a good person. You don't have good intentions with what you're doing.
And that could be their whole livelihood that they're trusting you with. Home purchase it was my biggest purchase in my whole life. For me and my family. And honestly, I am the only person in my immediate family who owns a house.
Oh, wow.
So like, out of my parents, my siblings.
That is very common. Yeah, it's very common in our community to see that.
Yeah. Something has to change here. Sometimes you have to be the first to say, this is important. It's not normal, but this is important. And someone has to start it. So just having that
absolutely
impactful
example. When we say we're breaking those generational curses, we're teaching generational wealth. So
that's right.
Yeah. No, that's just great. So one of the things you have said is, like you said, paying it forward and being able to be the first, but not the last, and being able to be like, if it happens for Ebony, if it happened for Cassidy, it can happen to me. And being, like I said, it is one of the most important investments you will ever make in your life. Because people think they just buy cars, but y'all know we don't get no write-off on no car. But it's your house. That is your generation. And you want to be able to have somebody who, like, in those moments when all the paperwork is in, like, what really does this mean? And everything. And so let's talk about the stuff that you have seen in terms of just any obstacles and any challenges that you faced, and what did you learn and how did you help your clients, overcome them?
First things, like you said, just a good person. A lot of times for realtors, we spend a lot of our day on the phone with other realtors, whether it be trying to negotiate terms of we're under contract, we're trying to get under contract, we have an inspection that we're trying to work through details of, and one of the toughest things you can face sometimes is feeling like you're in a fight with that other agent. It's like, we are here your person's trying to get to the end, my person's trying to get to the end. Why don't we work together? Why are we like, no, I want this and I want this? It's like, but what about the middle? Like, can we find a nice median? And it can be difficult to sometimes even express to your client what is happening without being like, look, they just being jerks. Having to explain the technicality, of the situation. Like, well, yeah, they technically can ask for this. They don't have to, and it's like, but why are they? And, managing emotions in those situations where, yes, my client has every right to feel what she's feeling, but I can't egg her on and be like, yeah, girl, let's go over there and let's call her broker and be like, we have to remain professional, biased almost in a sense, because we can't always lean towards our client, because sometimes leaning towards our client will push them in the wrong direction. But we can't be all for that other agent and make our client think that we don't have their back either. So I feel like you said, Ebony, that's when, your morals come into play and how you handle yourself emotionally. Those are some of the more difficult, I would say, situations for me, when it's not down to the black and white of stuff. It's when the emotions come into play.
Thank you. Ebony, you have one?
Well said. I mean, I do feel that there's just so many different things that could happen in real estate, right? There's so many moving parts all the time that you have to kind of be a little OCD to pay attention to every little thing. You have to. It's one of the things, because you don't want to miss a deadline where you were supposed to get back to, the other party's agent to tell them this in a particular day. And because you messed up and you didn't time manage properly, you now have lost that contract, possibly, and it can happen like that. People back out of contracts all the time. But ultimately they want to get to the end. Like you said, Cassidy, like that is the goal for everyone. But I've seen situations where, my clients are out of town. I'm a military relocation specialist as well. So I deal with a lot of active duty military. And so I have to change my schedule in the way that maybe they're in Hawaii and I need to answer my phone after 5 p.m. So you have to make sure that when you do decide to get into real estate, you have to know what it's going to entail, because some people do go in thinking just about the money and, I want to, do $1 million listings, right? That's all cute. We love watching those shows, but do you want to live that life that will allow you to make that $1 million? Because that means that you're missing some things.
Right. You never put that phone down.
That's right. Right before here, I just came from my oldest son's track meet, right? Like, and that was something that's non-negotiable for me. I got my real estate license because I wanted that type of freedom. I mean, I do have a 9-to-5, don't get me wrong, but the idea is to alleviate that responsibility and have freedom to where I can go see my kids track meet in the middle of the day and come back and still talk to my clients and close the deal. So that's the life that I wanted to live. And the real estate license, the different types of avenues that you can go in with, just like I said, military relocation, I decided that was something I wanted to help with because I know it's so hard to get to a professional outside of business hours. And I knew that it would be tedious, but it would be necessary. I know a lot of active military and veterans personally in my life that I knew it was hard for them. And so that was something that I said, you know what, I can do that. Like, I want to do that for them because they're out there doing a lot that I'm not going to do. Like, I put all respect to military veterans.
I am a former military spouse. So yes. I have that certification as well, the MRP. So I totally understand where you're coming from there as well. And even on that aspect, like, it's good to have somebody to back you, because even as a spouse, like, you're just a number. Like, you to talk to somebody and really get that support, like you said, it's needed. It really is.
Right. So no, this is great. So one of the things is we've always said, and this is one thing I've learned along my journey, if you figure out a problem and be able to answer that problem, you will always be in your calling. So what I heard you say was know a lot of military, was a military spouse, and you all now are in that position to help somebody else. So you understood the need, but then you not only you understood it, but then you did something to make a difference and to pave that way. So no, that's great. The other thing that you did hit on is about this work-life balance. So I do believe that, again, the work-life balance, whatever occupation, career, is important. And as we've all said, we have our main job, your 9 to 5, but then we also have these other skills and hobbies and other careers as an entrepreneur, a realtor, or whatever you do. So how do we talk about this work-life balance? We talk about what is it, how does it look like, and how do we establish that work-life balance? Because I think that's real and where we are now. So who wants to talk about that?
If you want,
go for it.
I have 2 boys. I'm married, so I'm the only female in the house. But it's about everybody having the same goal, at least in my home. Last year we sent the kids to sleepaway camp for the first time. That is something brand new to me. I'm from New York originally. We didn't do sleepaway camp, but I'm out here in the suburbs. And I said, you know what, we're going to do this. So it was like, okay, well, mom is doing this, and it's so that we can have a certain type of freedom. Daddy's helping, you know what I mean? And we have a common goal. You like to do things like this? We have to do things like this. It's basically for the common goal. Like, mommy is not out here just not able to play Minecraft with you every day because she doesn't want to, right? It's because we have a goal. But what I do love is that my kids, they're very supportive. So my oldest is a freshman at North Plain High School now, and he is in the CTE program. And because I'm into real estate development, he has joined the program for electrical construction. So when I start breaking ground on my communities that I'm hoping to build soon, he wants to be on the forefront of it. My youngest, he's 10, and I'm going to be a real estate agent when I grow up. He likes to watch the house tours. He comes with the camera. He wants to, do all the filming. And it's a joint effort. So I think that once you bring your family, if you can, bring your family into the journey, then it helps make the balance a little better, because you're spending time. It's quality time, regardless of what you're doing, as long as you're having fun and you're teaching your children work ethic. Like, it's not always about playing, but it can still be worth it and still be fun.
Oh, that's great. Cassidy?
Yeah, I agree with you definitely, except the balance of you get what you put in. And I teach my daughter that a lot through, my daughter is actually at North Point as well. She's in the cosmetology program. So she'll be 16 in a couple of weeks. I'm still accepting that. But overall, I think for me, the balance starts with where I show her in the juggling that I do between bodybuilding and who I am as just a regular person. Like the discipline that I have to show in bodybuilding, it reaps the rewards when I get on that stage. I'm sorry, in the gym when I'm training, reap the rewards when I get on the stage. And just like you said, behind the scenes, everything that you do to build up the real estate business, it shows through the transactions that you receive, the people, the interactions, the relationships, and everything you build. You only get what you put into something. So for us, the balance comes from understanding that we work hard, we play hard. So if you understand the foundation of putting these things into place, but I try not to allow work to just consume us, that be all we do. So like I said, lay the foundation. We learn even how to automate things, meal prep, like how to eliminate as many extra things as we can so that you have more free time to do other stuff. So she used to hate the idea of meal prep until she saw, during the week I don't have to cook. Like, I just grab it, keep it moving. There's more time doing other stuff. See? So it was like just something that small, showing her, even down to, I automate all of my social media. So I'll be out and about with my clients and things are posting. All of a sudden, somebody's messaging me like, I just saw you posted this. How girl, I would love to see it. I'm like, what post are they talking about? But it allows me that freedom to be out and about with my daughter somewhere, but I'm still making deals. Things are still happening behind the scenes because I took an hour on a Sunday to map out 2 months of content. So yeah, it might suck that I got to sit there and do that. Yeah, I got to sit here and cut up 25 sweet potatoes for the week. But and during the week, now, again, that balance is shown through just a few minutes or a few hours of laying down some foundation of hard work. So that's how we balance it over here.
Oh, no, I love it. But I do love how it's a family affair. And so one of the things I mentioned earlier, that my mother was a realtor. And so I, too, grew up in real estate, going to her open houses and all of that, and helping her with her business. And we talked about those transferable skills, being organized. And I too, one of my first jobs was at a real estate office, answering the calls. And I love it how that's new interest. So I love it how your son is, wants to be in construction. And so I love that. Did y'all hear that? She gonna build her own community. You heard it first, y'all. FTZ's Table Talk. Because remember, both Ebony and Cassidy, we talked about empowering the community. And so I love that. Now, what advice would you give for anybody who's even thinking about, entering the housing market? What should they be aware of, do you think?
You said for anyone entering into the housing market, what should they be aware of?
Thinking about, do I want to own? Do I want, what should they be aware of? What should they know? What's some advice?
I think a lot of times for me, it would maybe depend on like, what standpoint are they looking at it from? Are you looking at it from, I would love to be an investor, or I'm a first-time home buyer? A lot of people always answer with, well, what do the interest rates look like? And that's not always the determining factor for a lot of things. So I always try to flip the script on people. And I'm like, well, what standpoint are you looking at it from? And then let me kind of backtrack it into how it can be still beneficial to you. I feel like that no matter what time of year, where the market is, that it can still be, the market itself can be beneficial to you in some way, because it's an investment that is long-standing. It's something, like you said, it's not like a car. You drive it off the lot and it's immediately going to depreciate. The longer you hold on to that bad boy, the more it's going to yield you. So you might jump in at a time when I did in 2020 when my interest rate was 2.5. But now here we are in the market is 7. If I sell at 7, it looks different. Depends on who you are and where you are on that spectrum. I even tell people right now trying to buy, get in and rent it out. Do you know what people are renting for right now? Like, do you know how hard it is for a person to even get in the door of a rental? Why don't you give back to your community a little bit? You can afford a second home right now and maybe not make your rent so astronomical and help someone a couple blocks over live a little bit more comfortably. So again, I just try to talk to people from different perspectives and think outside the box with it.
I love it. Ebony, do you want to add to that one?
Yeah, I normally just ask them, what type of life do you want to live? Because before you think about buying a house, and I'm not trying to deter anybody from buying a house, I just want you to think about what type of life do you really want to live? Because a lot of people think that buying the house is the American dream, right? Like you did something, you bought the house, but that house takes work. So, ultimately, if you're the type who wants to travel a lot, if you don't want that home maintenance, think about, well, maybe I shouldn't have, an acre and a half. Maybe I don't want a whole lot of land, or maybe I do want something that, like Cassie said, you could rent out when you're traveling. Short-term rentals are definitely a big thing right now. So I asked them, what is your ideal life once you purchase this house? Are you going to want to, be a soccer mom or dad and have like a lot of people over, entertaining, field work? Like what do you want to do? Because that's going to help determine your path. A lot of people don't think that way because they think just buying the house is the end all be all. But if it's going to hinder how you really want to live your life, then is it really worth it? That's kind of how I look at it, because it's a big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. And you don't want to get into something to be house broke, right? Because some people,
my dad said I was like house poor. They got the house, they can't do nothing.
Right. And that doesn't work.
No one wants to live like that.
Yeah, think about these questions. Don't just do it because you think that's what you're supposed to do. I'm supposed to have a house by this time, or I'm supposed to do this. Do what works for your life. And that's what I try to get everybody to think about beforehand.
All right. I love it. I'm telling you, we are having great conversations on Functional Training Zone's Table Talk. So here's a question for you. As looking back over your life, what would be the advice that you would give your younger self? I love it so much.
I would think I would immediately piggyback off of what Ebony just said. That shoulda. I would always say, don't be a shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of person. Don't be afraid to take risks. There are no rewards without risk. I used to get teased a lot when I first started my government job because it was on a military base, and I would like jump around to different buildings, like, oh, what that building do? I want to work over there. And they would be like, you always bouncing around, like, sit still. Don't sit still. Like, how are you going to learn who you are and what you like if you jump on the first job and you sit at that desk for 20 plus years and you never explore who you are or what you truly enjoy doing? I would always say also, back to that shoulda, coulda, woulda, get out of the societal expectations that there is an age limit on when you should, like you said, Ebony, have a house. I should have a house by now. I should be married. I should have these things. Why? Who told God that was your plan? Like, you want to make God laugh? Tell him you're playing. So yeah, like just explore, be free, and chase your heart and your passion. Like, if you are quiet and you ask for just guidance to find your purpose, it will find you. But you got to be open to it. You can't let people put you in a box or tell you you should have had this, that, or third by now, or you're not going to get it because you don't have it yet. So that's my little 2 cents on that.
All right. Miss Ebony?
I totally agree. If I could have turned back the hand of time and went to some wise person to tell me what I needed to know back then, oh Lord, they would have said, just do all the things. Try all the things. Because at 18, you don't have enough life experience to make that lifelong decision. You haven't lived yet. You don't know what's out there that you might want to get into. I used to watch a show called Home Time. I'm aging myself right now. It's called Home Time. And it was kind of before HGTV got real live. It was construction. And I just used to sit there like, just watching it. But what did I do? I became a federal contractor, sitting behind a desk. A stable check. I love my check. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But it's not fulfilling. Like, people look at me and they're like, why do you have so many tools? Because I like to build things. That's why I have tools. You know what I mean? But like, you would think for someone like who really enjoys busting down a wall, that I would be in that field from the get-go. But no, I wasn't steered that way. I was told that I shouldn't do that because I'm feminine. You know, like, that's not where I belong. And that was wrong. And I wish that someone would have gave me that permission back then to explore all of the facets of me that weren't societally accepted, if you want to say that, because I like all the things that are not Barbie and that are not, you know, my husband do all the cooking. I'll tell you right now.
I was married to a chef, girl. I get you 100%. I'm the girl who can do everything on the car, outside. My neighbors thought I was crazy because I lived in a town, so I would cut my grass. And my female neighbors are like, okay, sis. I shouldn't be cutting my grass.
It's crazy the way people put you in a box, like you said. And if so many people just said, forget this box, then I think a lot of people would be happier, because that weighs down on you. Mm-hmm. I'm 38 years old. I don't mind saying it.
Yeah, I'm 35, girl. We good.
And I got my real estate license last November. Yeah. And that was because I said, you know, I like real estate. Like, why am I not doing this after COVID? It was really, why not?
COVID opened up people's eyes. Mm-hmm. It did. Yeah. I got my license that year. So that's what, like you said, it took that long. It took me 16 years in government to finally say, I can't do this anymore. It's not me. Like you said, it's not fulfilling. It's a consistent check. I know what I do every day. I have my set routine. I can still live my life, but I'm not living it happily.
Right.
Yeah. Is it worth it? You weren't given that permission. You were told this is the route you should take. Don't deter, because it's the fear of what will happen. Like, no one's ever done that. Why would you go do that?
And even now, and don't get it twisted, people, even now, you will still hear it. Like, are you sure you want to do that? Like,
I just quit my job in December. No one has asked me, am I okay? Everyone is like, so are you gonna get another job? What you gonna do now? And I'm like, have you guys asked me what did those 16 years of government work do to me mentally? Like, am I okay? Like, blink twice, you okay? No.
Right? And it's because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. And they will eventually when it's personal to them. But everybody has their own moment, I think. And when you have your moment, you know it. You're like, I need to quit this job. Or like,
I said, December was it. I ladies, I lie to you not. I closed the laptop. I sent the email from my phone. I was like, where can I mail this back to? Like, I can't do this. And my family all went, are you okay? Why would you do that? You left your good government. And I'm like, yo, there's more to the world than that good government. Like, please, that good government, didn't they furlough? Like, they went under. Like, things happened that people never thought was going to happen to the government. And that's when it's just like, everything isn't stable. Anything can change. And you have to be able to roll with the punches and have some other skill that you can do outside of relying on good government. Yeah. So
this has been really great, because you all dropped a lot of great jewels. I do like try everything. But be able to step out of your comfort zone. Don't have people box you in. And so as young people, you know, the labels, living up to societal norms, no. You know, you have gifts and talents in you, and understanding your why. Like, again, Ebony mentioned that, you know, she loves construction. So I always work with clients on just knowing, what do you like to do? And if we go back to that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or, you know, what are you really good at? What do you naturally love? And if you're able to find a career that aligns to your gifts and talents, it is never a day of work. And so I'm just fortunate to have that opportunity, because I tap into my natural gifts and talents and do HR. So everything's about people. about helping them be the best in organization that they can be. And so that's just naturally good at. So ladies, this has been great. Now I do want you to end with, again, how can listeners contact you if they are in this area? So please, Cassidy, let us know how we can contact you and any lasting remarks that you want to end with, and then I'll turn it on to Ebony.
Okay. I am on Instagram, mentally fit _ realtor. I'm on Facebook, I believe it's just Cass Smith, and I do have the Mentally Fit Realtor page, but I don't know which one is which. Honestly, I check them both. In LinkedIn, Cassidy Smith. If you guys are looking for me, YouTube, the Mentally Fit Realtor, and I think that covers all the bases there. And last thing, anything to leave anybody with? Let's say faith over fear. I have always believed that you can't have both. You can't be, have faith and then be fearful. So you got to let go, let God, try everything. So that's my last 2 cents. And I wish everybody the best of luck. And I thank you guys so much for having me on this table talk.
All right, great. Ebony.
Well, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at RE by Ebony. So it's REBYEBONY. And on Instagram, you know what? You can also get me on Ebony _Shante_ at Instagram and TikTok, because that's my personal page, but I'm not private. So, reach out. I'm definitely available to talk. I have a lot of things that I'm trying to get started. It's coming soon. It's going to be called the 4 Keys Club, and it's going to be a community management enterprise. And I'm looking to have a lot of small businesses develop a network so that we can all feed off of each other. I want a lot of students to get involved with trying to form an apprenticeship. And I want students to help build these communities that I'm building. So I want everybody to reach out. But the last thing that I would say is you have to know that you matter. And at the end of the day, the words that you say to yourself are more important than the words that you hear from anybody else. And once you get your mindset right, you can take over the world. So say the right things to yourself and turn up.
All right. Thank you so much to Ebony and Cassidy. They have just, you all were great. Phenomenal. I'm telling you, if you were taking those, your page should be full, because they were dropping pearls of wisdom here. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your career journey. And you left our listeners with valuable advice. And we are here to inspire students and job seekers about their passion so they can make informed decisions about their careers. And to our listening audience, thank you for tuning in. Stay curious, stay motivated, and remember, every career journey is unique. Until the next time on the Functional Training Zone Table Talk, I am Dr. Joy Brown, and we will see you soon. Thanks for joining.
Sponsored by